All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking about funny, embarrassing, and strange stuff that has happened in the shop. So what started this video was I was watching David Freiberger and Faye Hadley doing their quarantine videos on Motor Trend On Demand. If you don't know David Freiberger, you're definitely not a hot rodder or a four-wheeler. I've been following Freiberger since he started at Hot Rod Magazine, all the way through when he switched to four-wheel and off-road, all that kind of stuff. When he went to Car Junkie TV, you're really a car nerd if you know that stuff. That was a predecessor to Roadkill. Well, anyway, they went through and were telling stories about different things, and I figured tell some funny stories and some embarrassing stories since, you know. So the first one is going to be a little embarrassing. It's in this shop, and it is the bay behind me. When we first opened, I was not shop foreman, but I was lead technician, and there was only 2 other techs in the shop. And I had a bunch of work to do on a Escape, I think it was. I did the brakes, did a bunch of other stuff, put the wheels all back onto the ground, put it on the ground, kicked out the lift arms, and was going to back it up to do something under the dash. I don't remember what it was, but I had to do something where I needed the door fully open and the lift was going to be in the way, so I planned on backing it up. Well, I got pulled off of that, went and did something else. Good bit of time passed, so I hopped in the car and did what any noob has done, and I didn't pump the brakes. Now, I have a nasty habit of putting my foot on the brake just enough to deactivate the shift interlock and put it in reverse and proceeded, not very fast, but mess up the door behind me. And if you haven't seen the bay doors, they're all glass. Wound up having to go to Home Depot, because it was the end of the day, cut pieces of plywood and cover the broken glass. Luckily, the car wasn't damaged really that badly. I think we had to do a little bit of paint repair on the bumper, but really wasn't bad. It literally just did more damage to the shop than it did to her car. But we took care of them. But anyway, wound up having to replace both the lower panes of the garage, which was quite expensive, and I felt really, really stupid. All right, next story. Fast forward a few years later, and this one I wasn't actually here for, and it's not really embarrassing, just kind of terrifying. Next to the shop is a very large liquor store. It starts there, which is why I'm telling that. So a naked guy went over there, at some point got tased by security. They threw him out, locked the door. He did a dive through the glass door into the shop, broke a bunch of bottles, then ran out. And again, at the shop, we have all our bay doors are glass. So there's a bunch of individual glasses. That night, one of the other technicians, his to-be wife, at that point they were just boyfriend, girlfriend, decided to make dinner for everybody at the shop. So she brought in spaghetti and noodles and all that. My wife was at home cooking dinner, so I was like, thank you, but I gotta go. Appreciate it. So him, his wife, and another tech were sitting here hanging out in the shop. And that guy came from the liquor store, did a Superman dive through one of the glass windows, keep in mind, naked. The other technician grabbed the first technician's girlfriend. He shoved him in the bathroom, and the guy jumped on the other tech and tried to gouge his eyes out. While they were struggling, he got him off of him, but he dropped his keys. The guy grabbed the keys, ran through an open bay door. It was right after we closed, ran into the street and dropped the guy's keys in the middle of the street and proceeded to run down the street. Cops got him. Don't know what happened to him after that, but if you've ever heard about bath salts, you have a pretty good idea why he was naked. So the other technician, all scratched up and beaten, also didn't have a way to get home because his Ford key with immobilizer got destroyed. So that was a fun thing to come in the next day. And I'd love to show you video of it. The one time the hard drive for our camera system was down. So I'm going to talk about guys' nicknames now. When we first opened up, one of our service writers was pretty good about giving nicknames, but one technician, I gave him his nickname, and he hated it. And good kid, he was always walking around with a jar of peanut butter. You know, either a jar of peanut butter and a jar of peanut butter and celery or something else. So he wound up getting the nickname Skippy. Part of the reason why he got a nickname real quickly is he has the same first name as the shop owner here, and neither of them liked being called big or little, and so we had to come up with something else to call him, so we wound up calling him Skippy. Bam Bam's nickname comes from the fact, and I get asked this all the time, and by the way, no, Bam Bam's still here. He's right over there. Well, he's not over there, but his toolbox is. He's still here. Josh, Andrew, and another technician, Sean, have left. We got a current crew. But anyway, Bam Bam, how he got his name. If you've ever watched Flintstones, imagine Bam Bam grown up, working as an auto tech, and instead of a club, he has a hammer in his hand. Well, that's Bam Bam. He's a really good technician, but that's how he got his nickname, Bam Bam, because he looks like a grown-up Bam Bam, and he likes to use his hammer. Next nickname. This one's a little different, but funny. I don't know how long you've been watching the channel, but early on when I started the channel, the Atlanta bridge fire happened. And if you don't know what happened, a literal bridge fell down. I was here that day. I was here when the bridge fell. It's literally right over there. Bridge fell, you know, messed up everything else. But here's the kicker. Not long after that, we had a tornado hit the shop. It was not officially classified a tornado. It blew in here. There's a video on it, by the way. I'll link it up here. But anyway, we had the back wall of the shop disappear on us. While everything was going on, while wind was blowing, I mean, it was, you know, pretty scary. We all ran into the locker room, which is adjacent to the bathroom. We all run in there, grabbed the last technician who did the, you know, had to run the gauntlet from all the way over there, all the way over to the other side of the shop to get in the bathroom to get safe. And so we're all sitting in there and we're like, okay, who's all here? Who are we missing? And we're like, Sean, where is Sean? And well, all of us all of a sudden hear, I'm in here. Sean was in the bathroom. So henceforth became known as Johnny. Oddly enough, like a month later, they went to pick up Arby's, and they accidentally, instead of putting Sean on his ticket, put Johnny. So some of the nicknames around here. Sparky, aka Josh, aka Scotchlock, got his nickname because one, when he started here, he had a bag of Scotch locks in his toolbox, and we found out he had installed his audio system in his Boss Mustang with Scotch locks. He has since fixed it, but the Sparky story, he was actually in my bay right here, and he had to put a freeze plug in a Chrysler minivan. And so he had to pull a bunch of stuff apart to get to this freeze plug, and he douses down the engine with brake clean, slams the hood, and me and another technician are standing in front of him, and we're going to Fogo de Chao with everybody in the shop for a shop meeting and, you know, celebration for all of our hard work and all that. And we hear him turn the key, a click, and then a whoosh, which was all of the brake clean catching on fire. He had already closed the hood, so we had to pop the hood, put out the fire. Yeah, ground wires are really important and really bad next to a bunch of brake clean. I hope you enjoyed this walk down memory lane of stuff that's happened around here. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Comments are always appreciated, and as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.